For this pattern, I will be using Yarn Bee Tender Touch. It's a very, very soft, pretty yarn. A number 4 weight yarn will do just fine. We will be using an H 5mm crochet hook and just our basic supplies, scissors, yarn needle, and possibly a stitch marker or two. For this pattern, we will start going side to side across this way for our glove. If you would like a glove that you do not fold over for the cuff, then I would divide the chain number by 2. So we will chain 22 and we are going to just work side to side with half double crochets. We will slip stitch join our sides together. Then we will begin to work in the round along the top edge here. And believe it or not, this works up really, really fast. So once we get past the cuff point, the shell pattern, it will go pretty fast for you. We will begin with a slip knot, and we will be chaining 22 chains. In the second chain from our hook, we are going to yarn over and we are going to make 1 half double crochet in the second chain from our hook. I am going to go into the back bump. When we go into our chain, we are going to swing our hook around and yarn under and pull up. I will show you that one more time. In that second chain from our hook and that back bump, yarn over, go into the chain, yarn under, pull it up, and then complete the half double crochet. We're going to do this all the way across, all the way until the end of our chain. Making some really nice half double crochets here. Complete that all the way until your last chain. So we have row 1 completed. We will make a tall chain 1. We will turn our work. We will repeat this in the back loop of each chain. So we will look for our back loop here. Yarn under, pull it up, yarn over, and complete. Go into that back loop, yarn under, pull up, yarn over, and complete. We will repeat this all the way across for row 2. For row 3, we will repeat. We will chain 1, a tall chain 1. We will turn our work, and we will repeat this until we complete row 20. Back loop, yarn under, yarn over to complete. Complete this until row 20 is completed, and I will show you the next step. We have 20 rows of half double crochets. We will now fold our work together, chain 1. We will now go into the front loop of this chain. We will find the back loop of the opposite chain, and we are going to slip stitch join. Front loop, back loop. We have front loop, back loop. We are going to repeat this all the way down until the end. Front loop, back loop, slip stitch. For row 1, for the body of the glove, we need to make 1 single crochet into each row of our cuff here. So what we will do here is I'm going to go into the strongest part of our cuff. I'm going to go into the next row and make 1 single crochet. I will skip over this 1 loop here. It's not a very strong join, so I will skip over that, and I will go into the next part, which has 3 loops there, kind of like a chain, and I will make another single crochet. I will skip over this part. It's just 1 loop that's not very strong. I will go directly into what looks like a V. So I will go directly into that and make my next single crochet. And I will repeat this going around until I have 20 single crochets. Repeat this all the way around. Double check, make sure you have 20 single crochets completed. Once you have completed 20 single crochets all the way around, we will slip stitch join into that first single crochet. I will yarn under to slip stitch join. We will chain 2 for row 2. What we will do now, we will make shells in every 4th chain. So in the same chain here, we are going to make 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, all in the same chain. We will skip 3 chains and repeat this in the 4th chain. We will repeat this all the way around. We will find the chain to our first double crochet, which will be the third chain up, and we will now slip stitch join, and I will yarn under to slip stitch join. For row 3, we will be stacking our shells on top of one another. We need to stack our shells in this chain 1 space of the previous shell. And how to do that, we will slip stitch over. So we need to slip stitch into the next double crochet and into this chain 1 space. We will slip stitch into that chain 1 space. We will chain 2. And for row 3, our shells will be made of 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. So in the same space here, this chain 1 space, we will go in and make 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. We will now jump over to the next shell. In the next shell and the chain 1 space, we will make our 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. We will repeat this pattern all the way around in each chain 1 space. For row 3, at the end, we will slip stitch join into our first double crochet. I will yarn under to slip stitch join. We will now slip stitch over till our first chain 1 space. So in the next chain, slip stitch over, next chain, slip stitch over, chain 1 space, slip stitch into that chain 1 space, chain 2, and now we will repeat row 3. This is row 4, so we will make 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet, all in that chain 1 space. We will jump over to the next chain 1 space and we will repeat 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. Repeat pattern all the way around until the end. We are at the end of row 4. we will slip stitch join into that first double crochet of the row. We will now slip stitch over. So for row 5, we are repeating row 4. We are slip stitching over until we reach our first chain 1 space. We will chain 2 and repeat row 4 for row 5. Repeat this all the way around until the end. At the end of row 5, we will slip stitch join into our first double crochet. This time we are going to chain 2 straight from this join. So we will not be slip stitching into the next double crochets or the chain 1 space. We will directly make our chain 2. Now in this next chain 1 space, we will make one more 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet shell. We will count over until the 4th double crochet. We count 1, 2, 3, and 4. This 4th double crochet chain, we will slip stitch into that chain. We will now chain 7. We will turn our work. This chain 2 that we began with for this row, we are now going to slip stitch into that chain 2. So that top of that chain 2, we are going to slip stitch join. And this here is creating our thumb hole. Now we will be working in the same direction, which is backwards from the first 5 rows. So from this chain 2 space, we will directly go into this next chain 1 space. So we are working from the inside of our work now. So we are looking at the inside. So I will go directly into that next chain 1 space and make a 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet shell. We will continue to work on the inside of our work, and we will continue to make our 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet shells in the chain 1 spaces. We are almost finished with our glove. Continue finishing up the next 2 shells. I am at the end of row 6 and I'm to my chain 7 space. So what we will do is we will jump right into the 4th chain and make a 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet shell. Just need to get right into that chain and begin that shell. And we will work all the way across in each chain 1 space, just like before. And this will be our last row. So I'm going back into that 4th chain and finishing up that shell. So now we will jump over into that next chain 1 space and make our shell just like before. And this makes a really nice change for our thumb. And it fits so perfectly. It's shaped beautifully. You will love it. So I'm just going to the next chain 1 space and making another shell. And this is actually going to be our last row of our shells. And we are just going to do a slip stitch border, and that is it. So I'm just turning, going to the next chain 1 space here and making another shell. Onto the next chain 1 space, making that shell. Now we are back to that chain 7 with that shell on top. So our next step here, we are going to slip stitch into that first double crochet of the shell stacked on top of that chain 7. We will slip stitch join, and now we will slip stitch all the way around for our final row. So we will just slip stitch into each chain, and you can either slip stitch into the chain of the chain 1, or you can go into the space. Totally up to you. I went directly into that chain, and I'm going to try to not make these too tight. I'm just going to go all the way around to finish this up. Repeat the slip stitches in each chain all the way around until the end. I worked my slip stitches all the way around, and now I will just slip stitch join into that first slip stitch, yarn under, pull through, and slip stitch. Now it is time to cut our yarn tails and weave in our yarn ends. I will just pull that through, tighten that down, grab my yarn needle. I'm going to hide this yarn tail on the inside of my work. I will do the same thing with the other yarn tail. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Now we just need to find this yarn tail here and hide this as well. Thank you so much for watching my video. There should be another video of mine popping up in either the left or the right hand part of the screen. Please feel free to watch another one of my tutorials. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you love your gloves. I hope you get to rock them everywhere and make them for presents for all your friends. Thank you for joining me today. I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.